Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Fandom Ryu. I know it's the first time anybody's ever seen my face, but get over it. It's not as ugly as you thought. Admit it. At any rate, I wanted to talk to everybody today, specifically after these two games came out this week, Mass Effect 3 and Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I heard a lot of people talking about and bitching about the DLC for these games. Now, there are some good points and there are some bad points. Things that people need to quit whining about. Shut the hell up, you don't know what you're talking about on a couple of these. And there are a couple of really good reasons to dislike what these two companies did with their games. So let's start with Mass Effect. Mass Effect 3 Collector's Edition, which I luckily pre-ordered. And the reason I say luckily is because it wasn't until, 2-3 weeks before the game came out that you found out that only the Collector's Edition would include the From Ashes DLC, in which, spoiler alert, you get a Prothean squad member. No one knew that this was going to be the case until, like I said, 2 or 3 weeks before the game came out. Why is this a problem? Well, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to pre-order a Collector's Edition from GameStop, but sometimes they cut off pre-orders for Collector's Editions like a month and a half, 2 months before the game comes out. So because EA and BioWare didn't let anybody know about this particular exclusive with the Collector's Edition, there was a run on the Collector's Editions and lots of people couldn't get the Collector's Edition, which they would have gotten had they known beforehand. And what was EA's solution? Well, fine, you don't have to get the Collector's Edition, but if you want the From Ashes DLC, it's going to be $10 on launch day. Now, this is kind of a yeah or no thing. Really? The Collector's Edition was $10 more than the Standard Edition. So if you bought the Standard Edition and then paid for the From Ashes DLC, you're essentially getting the same amount of content. Yes, you would have missed out on, the comic book, the N7 Velcro patch, and some of the other stuff. Who cares? If you really wanted, look, alright, if you're one of those guys that really wanted that Velcro N7 patch to put on top of your baseball cap, fine. But I really don't see what the big deal is. I do see a big deal in them not telling you what you were getting with the Collector's Edition beforehand so that people couldn't make an informed decision on that. But at the end of the day, it wasn't really that big of a deal. But the other problem people are talking about with Mass Effect 3 is, oh my god, it's day one DLC. If I am to understand these people's arguments, it's that if content was developed alongside the original game, all of it should ship with the game and not be pre-planned on day one DLC. I'm sorry, but does anybody other than me not think that makes any sense at all? You're saying, oh, I should get everything for my $60. Well, here's the problem, folks. If you don't think you're getting a full $60 worth of content from a launch day release, don't buy the damn game. It's that simple, folks. All this bitching and moaning and whining about, oh, it's on day one DLC, they're just trying to make money, and I should get all that content on the disc. No, quit your sense of entitlement and look at the product from a discerning point of view and say, yes, they have day one DLC. Let me see what the content of the package is, and I will make up my mind whether or not that's worth $60. If it's not worth $60, you don't buy the game. The content provider is doing nothing wrong by preparing DLC on day one. There's nothing wrong with that, folks. The only thing that I might have had problem with was the way that they did it with Batman Arkham City. Whereas if you didn't purchase the game new, you had to purchase the Catwoman content separately, and the Catwoman content wove into the story of the game. And it's not that different from the Mass Effect 3 Prothean Squad member, the From Ashes DLC, but it's similar. I still don't see why this is such a big deal. You are not owed anything from the content provider. They don't owe you a damn thing. What they owe you, if you decide to purchase the game, is value for your money. If you don't think that it's enough value for your money, it's very simple. Hold on to your $60 and buy the game elsewhere. That's what I have to say about Day 1 DLC. Grow up. It's not a big deal. If you guys hear shit in the background, it's probably my cats. Pardon me. So, that was essentially the message I wanted to send about the Mass Effect 3 DLC. Grow up, quit your whining, and use your brain when you determine what kind of content you want to buy. No one forces you to buy Mass Effect 3. Oh, but I've played it since the beginning. I bought Mass Effect 1 and played through it, and bought Mass Effect 2, played through it. They owe me this, this, and this. They don't owe you a goddamn thing. Another problem with a sense of entitlement that everyone has here. Oh, and by the way, just a little lesson for everybody. I bought this package, okay? I own a copy of all this content that's in here. This is the comic book and the N7 thing. Now, in here, do you know what I own in here? I own this disc. That's it. I do not own any of the content on this disc. This content is licensed to me. I do not own this copy. I'm letting that sink in for everybody. Now you can make whatever comment you want about the rightness or wrongness of the fact that copyright law allows people to essentially sell a copy of a copyrighted work and not actually sell any other rights to that work other than we are licensing you this content to use for this specific purpose. We can go on and on about whether or not that's right in copyright law. That's something that's not changing anytime soon. So you can say, oh, that's wrong or everything, but it's not the way it is. The way it is that we don't own rights and that we don't own that content. So this will come in later in the next video here when I start talking about Street Fighter Cross Tekken DLC. So, for the too long didn't read people out there, grow the fuck up, quit bitching about Day 1 DLC. It's not a huge deal. And it's probably going to be the way of the future. If you think it's a waste of your money, don't buy the product. It's that simple.